Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda. So I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Valvrave the Liberator, Episode 6. Now, if you remember from last episode, we find out the Student Council is now in charge of Module 77, right after they declared their own independence. Now, the ARUS has allied themselves with Module 77 only to go after Valvrave. Once they have Valvrave, they are not going to be siding with Module 77, plain and simple. Now, moving on past that, we are taking to a little cutscene with Haruto and Rokino. Now, Haruto and Rokino are being led blindly by Elef in secret. They have no idea that Elef's the one that's kind of leading them along all the way down to the bottom level of Module 77, where Haruto and Rokino discover the mechas that look like Valvrave, kind of. So they find more mechas, which is kind of a good thing, but toward the end of the episode we see Haruto and Rokino kissing. And again, that's where the episode ends. And I'll keep my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. Plus, I've read on in. So we open up this episode with Rokino. Right after she starts kissing Haruto, she starts to head for the green mecha. Now, Haruto tells Rokino, let's keep this a secret. Let's not tell anyone else about the mechas. Let's keep it to ourselves. And she lies to him. She pushes him aside, and she goes inside the green mecha, and she basically tells Haruto, I want to become famous. I'm like, what a bitch. Of course you want to be famous. Isn't that what everyone wants, plain and simple? You want to be famous. Bullshit. Eventually she does get inside the green mecha, which she has named Carmela. I would have called it Karma, because Karma's a bitch. Bada bing. Anyways, she does go inside the green mecha, and she transforms just like Haruto did, so now she's like a superhuman. And then eventually she does think she's immortal. Everyone does at some point in time, until someone tells us we're not. And then, in that case, we call their bluff. And hopefully we don't die afterwards. But that's just me. But sorry, I digress. But anyways, she thinks she's immortal, now that she's exactly like Haruto, which is kind of bullshit, because we really don't know her true potential, her true power right now. However, Haruto and Rokino are now face to face right outside their mecha after Rokino has actually transformed, and Rokino bites Haruto on the neck. And I thought, oh, damn, vampire moment, plain and simple. But again, that's where we open up with. Moving on past that, we are taking to a little cutscene with Rokino yet again, and she's taking over Haruto's body. Yes, Rokino is now taking over Haruto's body. Who did not see this coming? Come on, seriously? Now, moving on past that, we are thrown with a little bit of information from Elef. Apparently, Elef in general has found out a little more information about the Academy, how the Academy was part of a greater plan all along. So, the JIOR had something else in mind when they created the Academy. Yeah, it's starting to, leak out there, but that's all we really know. Nothing in detail. Right now it's just all speculation. For all we know, the Academy could be a training ground for the next super soldier. That's kind of where I was going with that. Now, moving on past that, we are taking to a little cutscene with Shoko. Now, Shoko approaches Haruto as well as Rokino, and Shoko basically tells Haruto that someone online has been spreading rumors about you, saying stuff that's probably not true. I know the real Haruto. I know you did not write this. It was Rokino. When Rokino took over Haruto's body, she spread a lot of false rumors, a lot of cheap pictures, got a little roomy. And yeah, Shoko wasn't buying it, so she does stick up for Haruto, and she believes Haruto. Now, Haruto opens up his goddamn mouth and basically says it's not like me and Rokino were kissing or anything. And eventually Shoko finds out that Rokino kissed Haruto, Haruto kissed Rokino, and everything's been blown way out of proportion. Way out of proportion, plain and simple. And Haruto is now fucked. The girl he liked, Shoko, is in hot waters. Yeah, Haruto, he's in hot waters. Yeah, the shit has hit the fan, plain and simple. But before we can get a little more into that little emotional train wreck, the Dorson army attacks out of nowhere. I was like, perfect timing. Just when, the love nest was about to be burnt to a crisp, what would happen? The Dorson army's going to attack. Now, the ARUS is completely surrounded, so the ARUS, as for being, the only allies of Module 77, they're not of any use. So the ARUS, no help whatsoever. They're fucked. The Dorson army now has them surrounded. Like 10-1. I can give you better odds, but you know what? 1/2 to 1? Yeah, okay, let's go below 1. 1/2 to 1. Yeah. So it's half out of 10. Sorry if that made any sense, comment down below. Anyways, moving on past that, after we find out the ARUS is now out of the game, Rokino, she gets ready. So Rokino gets inside of the green mecha, and she decides, I'm going to do something about this. It's time for my time to shine, No. Now, all of the student council now knows that Rokino is now piloting a green mecha, so she's exactly like Haruto. Although they don't know what she's really capable of doing, the only thing the student council right now knows is Rokino is piloting another mecha. I'm like, okay, that's good. How about you do something? I mean, seriously, now Rokino does attack the enemy right away, and I thought this was kind of unique. I mean, Rokino has no piloting training whatsoever, and yet somehow Rokino can control this mecha pretty damn well. And again, Rokino, she attacks the enemy, the Dorson army, right away, and I love it. Great build-up. No shit, it's really good build-up. Now, she is on fire. I'm giving her a little credit. I know she's a bitch at the beginning of the episode, but she's on fire. Come on. Give credit where credit is due. She's a bitch, but she's a great pilot. She's on fire. And you know what? Haruto later on joins her after we get to see, Rokino's amazing comeback on fighting in outer space for the first time, to our knowledge. And Haruto does join up with her. Now, the Dorson army attacks from a distance. Yeah, some of the officers that we saw in previous episodes, those kids that infiltrated the academy, yeah, they're in their own mechas, and they're attacking Haruto as well as, Rokino. And they've noticed that these mechas, the Valvrave and Carmela, they're close distance fighters. They're not long range. So those mechas cannot attack from long range. So the Dorson army officers are attacking from a long distance. So they're distancing themselves from the mechas to get a really good shots in. They're pretty much wiping the floors with Haruto and Rokino, and it's amazing. I love the strategy, and it's working in their favor. But for an audience member like myself, it's kind of pissing me off, because these guys are not snipers. They're not from Gundam 00, No, I'm not seeing it. They're not snipers. They're just taking cheap shots from a distance, and they're not doing any close range combat. But you know what? They're trying to save face. They're trying to take the mechas without destroying them completely. They're just trying to kill the pilots inside. So it kind of makes sense in my opinion. However, we are taking to a little cutscene with, the ARUS battleship. The ARUS battleship, or should I say the ARUS Army's battleship with the Senator inside, has been destroyed. Well, I should correct myself. It's been hit. We don't know if it's actually been confirmed, if it's been destroyed or not. It looks like the ARUS's battleship, which had the Senator inside, blew up, but it was hit by the Dorson army. But that Senator, which was an asshole by the way, has been taken out of the mix. So his battleship has been sunk, plain and simple. We don't know if it's been destroyed or not, but that's just me. I think it might have been hit. I don't think it's been destroyed completely. Now, as for the Dorson army, the colonel, he calls the Valvrave mechas entities. You heard me correct. The colonel from the Dorson army, the one with the eye patch, he calls Valvraves, these mechas, entities, like they're living beings. And I have no idea why he said that, but I swear to God, it means something, so do not forget that. That is some important information. Whether or not these mechas that, Haruto and Rokino are piloting are living entities or not remains a mystery, but the colonel kind of shed some light by saying that. His second in command was kind of scratching her head like, entities, what do you mean by entities? That's entities, living beings. In my opinion, these mechas that those kids are piloting have to be living beings of some sort. Now, moving on past that, we are taking to a little cutscene with Rokino, and she's scared. She's got her ass handed to her on a silver platter, and she is scared. Rokino is not doing anything. She's frozen. I mean, really? You put a girl in a mecha, it's bound to happen if they don't have proper training. But you could say the same thing about Haruto. He had no proper training, but he took things differently. And Rokino, after doing everything that she did, stealing his body, stealing a mecha, she decides to freeze. She was getting her ass handed to her by the Dorson army, and she freezes. Really? The one time when Haruto actually needs you, you're not moving. You're scared, and you're watching your comrade or your schoolmate get the shit beaten out of him. This is why women don't pilot mechas, because they have emotional breakdowns. But, you know, some male characters have the same thing. I will say that, but, you know, that's very limited, though. It rarely ever happens with the good guys. We have psychological bullshit that happens, but we get through it. Rokino, she's scared. Generally scared. Now, Shoko eventually notices this on the monitor. She goes to the student council room, the command center, what have you, of Module 77. She gets on the mic for phone, and she tells Rokino, snap out of it, you dumbass. Snap out of it, you know? And then she starts cheering Rokino on and telling her, we need you, Rokino, you know, this is your time to shine, you're the star. And those are words that mean a lot to Rokino because she's a former idol. And now that she's, you know, in the middle of everything and everyone's relying on her, it kind of snaps. She needs to do something now. And she does snap out of it, and it works. But it was all thanks to Shoko. If Shoko wouldn't have said anything, Rokino wouldn't have done shit. Plain and simple. Now, moving on past that, we are taking to a little cutscene with Rokino yet again. And she tells the student council to broadcast the whole fight live from her cockpit. Isn't someone getting a little cocky there? She snaps right out of it thanks to Shoko, and then she tells the student council to broadcast everything live through her cockpit. What, is this pay-per-view? Is she getting paid to do this? No, but she's getting fans. People all over are seeing what she can do and how she's saving the day with Haruto by her side, per se. And, you know, I like the build-up. It gets really emotional with Rokino. Hey, I like where it's going. But get your head in the game. It's not about the fame. It's not about the fortune. It's about living. It's about killing the Dorset army, who is a threat right now. Gotta get your head out of the game. But eventually, Rokino and Haruto do defeat the Dorset army, which is kind of strange because I thought the officers in these other mechas might have done a little more damage, but not so much. I think they just have standard mechas. They don't have specialized mechas, so maybe that's why. But anyways, the Dorset army has been defeated, but they're not destroyed. In fact, they retreated. So they weren't killed, they just retreated. That kind of makes sense in my opinion. And toward the end of the episode, we find out the colonel from the Dorset army has another plan in mind. And again, that's where the episode ends. As for my final thoughts, well, first of all, the colonel from the Dorset army referred to the mechas known as Valvrave and Carmilla as entities. Entities. Does this mean these mechas are living beings? We really don't know. I can't wait to find out, though. As for the ARUS and its senator, was their battleship destroyed, or was it just hit directly and then retreated? We really don't know. I don't think anyone really cares, though, because that senator was kind of a douchebag. You agree with me. Don't lie. He was a douchebag. Now, Shoko is actually the president's daughter of the ARUS, I guess. I forget if it's the JIOR or the ARUS. Either way, Shoko is the president's daughter. Now, I don't believe the president's daughter has the right to declare anything independence. If that makes sense. I said anything, but you know, any colony or any type of land, like, declare its independence. I don't think a president's daughter has that right. So I'm scratching myself on the head wondering, who the hell gave you the authority to do that kind of shit? You haven't even graduated fucking high school, college, nothing. Is there like a I don't know, a class I can take that certifies me to make myself an independent country? Hey, sign me up for that. But sorry, I digress. And I'll throw one more final thought out there. LF, what is your plan right now? We really don't know. I can't wait to find out what your real plan is, where you're going with this, and why did you tell, or should I say, why did you leave Haruto and Rokino down to the basement of Module 77 to find those mechas? We really don't know, but you've got a plan, and I can't wait to find out. But that ends it for my final thoughts. As for my rating, 4 out of 5. Although Rokino is a bitch in this episode, and also my hero toward the end, I don't like her as a character. No, she's unpredictable, she's risky, and she's a female mecha pilot. Doesn't mix. Sorry. Not feeling it. You know, they don't do it in Gundam series too often where you have a female pilot, so this isn't a Gundam series though, but you know, I let it go. So I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Was there any emotion, drama? Yes, of course there was, between Shoko, between Rokino, between Haruto. So yeah, it was definitely there. Was there any combat? Hell yeah, there was combat. We got to see Rokino on fire with her new mecha, so that was definitely worth mentioning. And we got to see the ARUS have one of their battleships blow up thanks to the Dorson army. So hey, I definitely love seeing that. As for the JIOR, we have seen nothing from them. They're still hostages, technically, from the Dorson army's perspective. Just putting that out there. So again, final rating, 4 out of 5. And that is it for my walkthrough and review of Valvrave the Liberator, Episode 6. Definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's going to happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, that is it for now. I gotta go, I gotta hit the bricks. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.